I mean, we're capturing some of both, so I guess we can make decisions, which are in a second. You're right, I do need a microphone. I need some kind of microphone to make it so that I can record my voice while I'm talking out here. That is what I need. You're right. It's so funny how this coronavirus is just stimulating my economy. Personally, I've continued working at Juiceland. Some of the tips are really bad days, but now that we've got more of them closed, looks like we might be able to do ourselves some real business, some real keeping jobs created, keeping people fed with smoothies. I do think more of our customers should be getting healthier smoothies than they continue to get, to be like in this pandemic situation where like our health really matters if you don't want to be one of the ones who dies. I mean, knock on wood. And by the way, this virus will of course take just enough younger, healthier people for us all to have some whatever fear of God within us about it. But it is so fascinating, isn't it, that it doesn't take children? I mean, we just so clearly manifested this virus with our collective unconscious. It's like I don't even want to talk about it because I talk about that in real life so often. That's all I ever talk about with people, is the fact that we obviously chose to do Corona Fest 2020 with our collective unconscious because a lot of people straight up deeply want the zombie apocalypse situation where they're literally shooting their neighbors for water. A lot of people just want that. But the rest of us are at least like, we need a break. We gotta do something. Someone pump the brakes on something, because we all need a moment to fucking meditate on what we really want the universe to be like, on what we really want the world to be like, on who we really want to be, what we really want to do with our time, who we really want in our lives, how we really want to treat our bodies and our minds and our spirits. Anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna buy myself some equipment because I've chosen to continue to work because I am young and healthy, and I'm trying to minimize. And by young, I mean I'm 33. I'm not in like the children are being spared zone. I could die of this virus, but I have worked very hard my whole life to be thin and fit and to have develop a healthy relationship with food and my body, to eat healthfully, mindfully. It took me a long, long time, a lot of struggle in this bullshit culture with all of our bullshit childhoods. Margarine and whole wheat stripped of its nutrients, and the healthy, responsible cereals being just as nutritionally devoid as Lucky Charms. You may as well have just had Lucky Charms, except for the sort of basic stoicism of like not giving your kids delicious things all the time like that, like easily. I get off on tangents. Too many people will lose me, but my economy is doing fine because yes, I've chosen to work. You know, at the smoothie shop for the wealthy, or the people who choose to spend their money that way. I shouldn't say it that way. You know, you should support companies and businesses that are like doing good things. You should support companies and businesses where both their employees and their customers are not only happy but healthy, and like really happy. I will say that Juiceland is a pretty good company. Yes, Soup Peddler is better, and you should support that more often, but Juiceland is certainly in more locations. And so when you're closer to and you don't have time to go to a Soup Peddler, go ahead and go to Juiceland for sure. Don't go to Domino's. I've got this right. I guess, you know, they're franchises and stuff, but like, first of all, you shouldn't be going to Domino's. It's disgusting, unhealthy garbage. Okay, and the more Domino's you eat, the more susceptible you are to the coronavirus and everything else that kills us. Okay, and also depression and unhappiness, slovenly, disgusting, you know. And by the way, yes, being healthy and fit, I think we're seeing now, is a moral duty, because when you are unhealthy you are more of a burden on society than you can contribute. Yeah, but sometimes things happen and there's accidents and there's whatever, and we want to be able to take care of the people who were born without legs or wind up losing them or whatever. We want to be able to take care of those people because that's how we would want to be treated if we were in that situation. But it is a moral duty to use your body, exercise, walk, run, do yoga. There's a lot of free ways to be in shape, trust me. Yoga with Adrienne. We are meant to walk and run. Read the book Born to Run. It'll get you running. It will make you so much happier. But anyway, it's a moral duty because we can see it now. We want to have universal basic health care. Forget the coronavirus. You know, we want it to be an American right that you have access to, that no one's going to be just left to die. Short term, slowly or longly, you know, cancer or car accident. We don't just leave people to die because they're poor. That should be an American right. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to call it like a basic human right. But no one, not even Bernie Sanders, is proposing that we make sure that everyone, every human on this planet has a right to healthcare. We're not going to go save them all. We do some good around the world. We do a lot of bad around the world. We do a lot of gray around the world as well, but a lot of bad. And no one is suggesting healthcare is a human right. What is a right? But anyway, we're suggesting it's an American right. That when I was growing up, we had a sense that if you were an American, you had things that we could all agree everyone should get who was an American. And we were all in this together. We would all save each other from tragic accidents or birth defects or wars, whatever. It was like you knew if you were traveling in another country, you would be not left for dead if some shit should go down. We cared about every single citizen. There's like, you know, it really felt that way. At least for me, and sure, like maybe some people grew up, and I don't know when I was born in 1986, so first of all, there's just that. And then also various demographics who were born in various places might feel whatever certain type of ways. I don't know. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm from A-Leaf. And all I know is growing up, I had a sense of pride about being an American. And there was a sense of like, we at least believed and thought and whatever that we would not leave an American citizen, fellow citizen, for dead just because they were poor. But it is very expensive to keep this country alive because we eat garbage and sit down. Okay, not everyone, obviously, but a lot of people spend way too much time sitting down. And sorry to the legless again, but you know, you guys do arm stuff or whatever. And eat garbage. And I get it, you know, people want to talk about blah, 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 poor people, food deserts, there's no time with your 3 jobs. Like, I work a lot of jobs and I have made very little amounts of money. I'm a hustler, okay? Now, one of the things that you can do is beans in a crock pot. Beans are like $2 for like a bunch of servings. You might have to soak them for a day, you might not, depends, you know, like some are so easy. Lentils are super quick to cook, but a crock pot with some beans, you know, buy some little chicken stock powder or whatever. You can add onions, you can add whatever, you can put vegetables, you can just throw stuff in there for a week, keep rotating out beans and vegetables, there's barley, whatever. It doesn't even, like, it doesn't matter whether you're in a food desert, there are beans and vegetables. Like, so many people act like they don't know how to cook the way my mother would act like she can't figure out how to learn how to program the VCR. You know, when your mom refuses to do anything and she insists that you just press the input button for her. It's always just like, Mom, we've told you before, you can change your little channels and we just press the input button. I can't understand it, these machines. And you're like, you're choosing to not understand. And a lot of people are choosing to not understand how to cook. Cooking, I don't know that much about cooking. And my girlfriend's in there baking pancakes this morning. She's whipping up eggs and she's doing sciencey, you gotta fold stuff. All I know is it's very easy to just take a zucchini, you chop it up, you wash it, you chop it up, you heat a pan, put some kind of fat in it, butter, olive oil, or whatever kind of fat you want. And if you cook slices of zucchini in some kind of fat, plenty of fat, and salt, preferably coarse salt, because that way you have less sodium but more flavor. By the way, there's a lot of people who are still having fine salt. No matter your food, no matter you think you can't cook, you need to get a coarser salt, preferably a coarser pepper as well. These spices, people used to die trading these spices. It was so valuable to get spices across the world to various places, just salt and pepper, because these things are incredible at making our food just so easily taste better. And you guys have fine salt and black pepper, raised in a barn. Anyway, but I get it. No one's teaching this. In our education system, no one teaches basic cooking anymore. It's frowned upon. You're supposed to only do, especially if you're like an AP student who, you gotta take all the classes with the biggest multiplier for your GPA. And so you're not even allowed to learn any skills because you gotta do all the smart people stuff. And you're like, because I got accidentally put in some tech thing once and I really fought it because I was like, this is gonna bring down my GPA because it's not an advanced class, or maybe it was only on, I don't even think it was, anyway. But I fought it, but then they made me do like the first day or two, and I was so enthralled suddenly with this world of like, wait, you're gonna teach us like skills and how things work? Thrilling class, but I really should have done a lot more of that in my life. Just because people are smart doesn't mean they have to be like all academics about everything. So I just want to be a comedian, but I do want to be educated, but I like educate myself in a lot of ways. Then again, we should all be like, yeah, okay, if college education is going to be free, it should be free for everyone forever. Everyone who wants to take classes can just take classes. Maybe just evaluate people, interviews, with letters of recommendation from like what else they've done. I don't know. Because college degrees already largely mean bullshit. Advanced degrees more so, but I mean everything, it's more just like what kind of fraternity did you get into? What kind of networking did you really wind up doing? But some people are learning practical skills, and that would have been nice to have been steered in that way. But as a Mormon vagina person whose parents might think of themselves as quite feministy and progressive, nonetheless, not a huge amount of like, let's talk about what you might want to do with your life and encourage you to go to that computer programming camp, whatever. What was my point? God only knows. I'm supposed to be doing yoga right now. But I've always been saying I wanted to pause time, if I could pause time, if somehow God allowed me to just pause time. My first order of business would be to like pluck out every single leg hair. Just for fun even. It's not even that I'm so like against leg hair, although I used to be very leg hair negative and like self-shamey about leg hair, but my girlfriend has made me a much wiser, more comfortable with my body person, which is delightful. But here I am. It's hilarious because I used to pluck my leg hairs. Like, it's like good when they're kind of shorter, they're just coming back in. You want it to be almost slightly difficult, like these are almost too long, but just the kind where you have to like, it's like, I don't know, maybe I get a sort of archaeologist thrill out of it. You get a surgical thrill, something like that, probably. But anyway, my dad used to read Harry Potter to us when we were growing up, and he would, do all the voices and everything. Good, you should read to your children. But I would my favorite thing was just take tweezers and just pluck at all these leg hairs that were coming in. But my mother, if she noticed it, would just so mad at me about it. Anyway, so I never take the time to do it, almost ever. But I have found, I didn't really consciously think about it, but just after a few days of like quarantine times, I just realized, I was like, oh my god, like I haven't been plucking them, but now I do this thing where I only shave the front of my left leg and the back of my right leg, because I'm non-binary. And by the way, I have poison ivy right now. What this horrible affliction is. But, so consequently, there's like these hairs that grow in, and just like there's just a certain length that I like them to be at. It's my own little bonsai tree meditation thing. I think it's very healthy for me, honestly. But I do, because I've done several designs. I was doing some stripes for a while, various gradients, but I do now consider myself a leg hairstylist, nay, a body hairstylist, because I've started doing, I'm experimenting now with underarm stuff as well. But I do think leg hairstylist sounds funnier and more me than body hairstylist. We'll see. I do need new business cards. But seriously, if anybody wants me to come over and like work out a plan for how we're gonna grow their leg hair out, and I will trim it for you. And then I found, okay, so because I've done that, and I've really like let it grow out in various whatever, I'm finding that I actually like it, because I love my girlfriend's upper leg hair. Hers does not grow in like dark like mine up here. She's very dark on her lower legs, but up here it's all that fine, you know, kind of just wispy blonde, and I love that leg hair. So I've started noticing that there's some of the leg hair that grows here that I do like, and then some that I kind of want to get rid of. So I'm letting more of this, even though I say I shave the top of my left leg, I'm starting to let more of this area grow in, because I'm finding I like that leg hair. Anyway, once you like throw gender norms out the window, or as you do that more and more, you know, more and more fun possibilities are popping up. I did get my girlfriend to agree today to do some role playing where she's the guy. And she's like, you've already done the gay boy thing though, so you're gonna be a girl. And I'm like, yeah, we get it, you're straight, all right. But I'm excited to be the girl, and I honestly tried to be the girl a few times with Loverboy that summer, but not good for his affirmative needs. But I am very excited to be the girl with the boy. That's the thing, this gender fluid thing. It's like, I don't know, life is all role playing. I don't know how the rest of y'all think about it. I guess maybe your role is more structured than mine. Some roles, I guess, are more free form, but oh, I could say I got her to agree to role play, but the reality is she got me to agree to wear her dress that she wore to lesbian prom, which she looked beautiful in. And I'm like, I mean, if that's what you want, like, I just am like, we'll see if she thinks I'm so curious to see whether she thinks I look good, and honestly whether I think I look good. It's been a while since I've like had a dress on and looked in the mirror, and I am getting much more comfortable with my own, like, not just fluidity around gender, but just like, I don't give a shit, you know? Like I said, we'll role play whatever seems hot. Most things seem hot to me with her. So I'm like, okay, I'll try on this dress and we'll see. But I just feel like with my haircut, like, I just don't think I like that when someone who looks like this wears a dress, but we'll see. When I tried on her underwear that one time, I was like, so I tried on her under, like, she mostly, as soon as we got together, she mostly just switched to wearing all my underwear, which is like sort of boy shortish type stuff. Most of them are not really made for men. They're just more like Victoria's Secret every now and then gets it right. Although I do have some like boxer brief things from Loverboy, and also some like jock straps that originally Ava had my trans roommate and podcast co-host and friend, of Gender Fluids, anyone's, that Ava had given to me to give to Loverboy, the trans boy I dated in the summer of 2018, for anyone who's, so Ava gave me, like, I don't know, she said like probably $300 worth of these, you know, that those gay male brands, I can't think of what they say on the Madden or something, I don't know, those gay male brands, maybe, I think you would buy them at Buckle, anyway, that, the just jock straps, so there was like a bunch of really nice ones, so I kind of gave those to Loverboy, but it was more of a like hours thing. I was like, yeah, Ava gave these to me, I feel like she gave them to me to be like, you and Loverboy might enjoy the, you know, and I'm like, well, so I took a few of those, not that we ever wear them, but maybe I will, because maybe if my girlfriend lets me like take her down this role-playing path, and / I let her get me into that dress, and we do start having her be my boyfriend sometimes, then I can become that girlfriend who's like trying to get her to let me peg her. I'll be like, here, wear these. Oh, the possibilities. You're not rigid about your stupid little gender identities. It's just so much more fun, but I'm sure I had some original points. I feel like I have just about, oh no, there's some more. It's like a bonsai tree, like I said. It can be fun to do this with pubes too, but like the legs just give me so much more to work with. And I do feel like it's, yeah, it's gotta be, it's like a yoga. Getting into the positions. But then maybe I should switch up, because if I'm only getting into the positions for the back part of this leg and the front part of that leg, that'll leave me unbalanced. Yeah. Just do some actual yoga. Oh, but yeah, a moral duty to be healthy, to eat your vegetables, drink your water, limit the stuff that you know is really bad for you, get some fucking exercise, get some fucking sleep, meditate. All these things are moral duties, because otherwise your healthcare costs more than the average person, or the diligent person, or whatever. And again, some people's healthcare is going to be really expensive because they were born into circumstances or whatever. And yes, people are born into circumstances of poverty and ignorance and whatever, but that's why I'm telling you now, and you know, you can get it from whatever source you need to. But some of these people making all these videos now in the Instagram live boom of 2020 here, you know, it's still pretty aspirational what you're doing. A lot of these people, meet them where they're at, you know, they need basic cooking skills. Here's a little tip: when you're making a salad and you toss it, wait until right before you serve it to put the dressing on. Also, a lot of these dressings at the store are disgusting and are making you think that you don't like salad, and you would be better off with just like a little bit of olive oil and vinegar and some salt and pepper, fresh cracked pepper and coarser salt. And if you do that, you will start liking salads. You can olive oil and lemon, olive oil and lime, depending on, think about the flavors in your head or whatever, experiment, who cares. Those are better salads, because a lot of this stuff, I mean, I'm telling, a lot of stuff in bottles or jars, jarred salsa, don't get me started. It's nearly impossible to find a jarred salsa that is worth putting into your body, but putting into your mouth anyway. But a lot of salad dressings are garbage, and so it's easy to see why you would think that you don't like them. And then of course at the restaurants that a lot of you frequent, even if you get a salad, it winds up being way too much for an unbalanced off. Oh shit, well the audio was probably all fucked up with that. Oh no, I think that was my girlfriend's phone. The ratio of nutrients is all off, ranch, whatever, it's stuff, you know, and then you're not gonna feel good. You should feel good after you eat. That's kind of the point. And then instead of like hating yourself and feeling bad, feeling sluggish, you feel filled with energy. It's the thing, you know, the saying, nothing tastes as good as being thin feels, is quite annoying, but the truth is nothing tastes as good as feeling good feels. I mean, sometimes things do really taste better than feeling good feels, but you eat those things like and enjoy that heroin situation and then wait for longer. You know, if it's rich, you have less of it and you make it a treat. And once you get in touch with your body and in tune with your body wants healthy things. It will reward you for healthy things, and it just becomes easy to just listen to your body about how much and what you really want to eat. You get to a point where you know you're actually hungry and not just emotionally wanting to eat to avoid whatever feeling you were just having. You know, you're like, okay, no, this is actual hunger. And then you go look at your fridge and cabinets and you kind of imagine it going in your body, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna eat the little tofu bits from the Greek salad. I'm gonna have a handful of spinach sometimes. By the way, a handful of spinach, and then take coarse sea salt and just shake in your mouth and just chew that up. It's delicious. It's not like humble brags. I'm saying it's literally delicious. If you stop with the aspartame, the Splenda, the sucralose, the stevia, I'll save this lecture for another day, but all of those things are hundreds of times sweeter than sugar, and so you're acclimating your mouth, your brain-body system via your mouth originally, to an extremely sweet palate, and then other things don't taste as sweet to your brain-body system anymore. Even if some part of your brain recognizes Snickers as pleasurable, your brain-body system doesn't quite get the memo as much anymore because you've suppressed its response to that much sweetness by flooding it with 300 to 700 times sweeter stuff. So when you get your stupid little coffee with your cream and or your stevia packet, you are making yourself fatter and less happy. It's like crack. If you feel that good for a second, which stevia doesn't even feel good, it's too sweet, so it's unpleasant anyway, and you get used to it, but it's not really pleasant. Trust me, I know what pleasant is. Eating a fresh baked chocolate croissant with a perfect Americano, that is pleasant. Stevia is strange. I used to drink all that shit, you know. Yeah, so you acclimate to hundreds of times sweeter, and then try drinking a Diet Coke of any variety and a Snickers together. See how that pairs. And Snickers are very sweet. They're delicious. And they're too sweet. You know, you want them to have, like, the dark chocolate ones are so good. There were these sweet and salty ones. Anyway, put a little bit of coarse sea salt on your Snickers, by the way. Next time you do treat yourself to a Snickers, because they are delicious. I mean, you know, get Justin's or something if you want one of those nice brands. If you can, but or make your own at home now that we've got some time, huh? That's the thing. Thank God. Everyone needs this time to learn how to cook. Here's another tip. When you're making a sandwich, let's say you want to have a sandwich that's like warm, whether it's some kind of grilled cheese, a BLT, whatever. Some people are toasting their sandwiches, their bread on the outside. I think we got that from grilled cheese, I guess. And then your hands are soaking into greasy butteriness. So you just toast the inside of the sandwich bread. Toast one side of each piece, and then you put them on a little plate, and then you take extra butter and or mayonnaise and or avocado, something creamy, and put that on that. And then you put whatever else you want on that sandwich. Or nothing. It's honestly quite delicious. Just have, I mean, I'm not eating mayonnaise butter sandwiches. Mayonnaise sandwich is kind of gross, but a mayonnaise butter sandwich is actually not that gross. I mean, I don't even think I've ever done it specifically. I can just tell in my mind, and also, like, sometimes you get a little corner of a sandwich that's just gonna be that. People make fun of mayonnaise sandwiches. It's like, well, no, but it's like a butter brie sandwich or something. It's just like fat on fat. It's not that healthy for you. As we all know now, when we talk about cutting the fat out of jokes, for instance, we should be saying cutting the carbs, because the fat is good. Sometimes fat can really be amazing in a joke, but it's always amazing in food. I mean, I love a rich joke, you know, don't be all y'all. I don't want to cut the fat out. Cutting the fat out is like a one-liner that's not that, you know what I mean, that's just funny, but not that, like, interesting. You've cut all the fat out. I'm like, no, keep the fat in,
cut the carbs out of that joke.
But so yeah, basically, you know, carbs are not bad. It's just that you want to be, when you're eating, focusing mostly on eating vegetables, and then think about sources of lean protein. They'll make you feel so good. And not even necessarily lean protein, just plenty of protein. And so sometimes if the protein sources you get are all super fatty, you're not going to necessarily get to eat the other nutrients that you need, because you're going to have used up more of your caloric input output on something that had too much fat in it. And anyway, so vegetables, protein, fiber, make sure you're getting fiber, because if you're cooking down all your vegetables or having them all in smoothies or whatever, all the fiber's being broken down, or most of it, by the blender or the cooking instead of by your body. So you want to make sure you're getting some fiber. It could be cereals, whatever, but just potatoes, different kinds of those things. But so vegetables, protein, fiber, and then fats. And then sugars are something where you need to realize how much you are burning them. So if you are gonna have a coffee with a little pastry and then sit down and write, and like you're using your brain, study, whatever, you know, you really will use that sugar that way. If you're gonna go for a run, some exercise, some sports, some whatever, you're gonna use sugar, and you can have some before, you can have some after. It's all good. Your body, you'll keep it in a state of burning fuel, and you'll listen to your body about when you want what kind of nutrients. But you absolutely need sugars if you're moving. And so if you like sugar so much, great, but just do the amount of movement necessary to eat those things. But then don't go to the gym and pound on a treadmill. It's horrible for your knees and stuff. And even if you can avoid running on the road, you should run on trails, because not only are they more fun and beautiful, and you can get into a flow if you're like stepping on rocks and climbing and whatever, but also because then your body has the ability to modulate its movements and its balance in order to work out its kinks and stuff, because it can use different surfaces and stuff to kind of like twist and move, and that way, instead of injuring yourself by pounding on the even pavement, your body dances as it runs. And all the more so, I think, the closer we get to barefoot running, although, I mean, that I am just starting that journey myself, so, but really do read Born to Run, y'all. Anyway, it's your moral duty to be healthy, and you should want to do it for yourself anyway. But it absolutely is. And so it's like fat shaming, I don't care. The point is, get healthy, everyone. And if we get healthy, and some of us are going to die, and some of it is because they were unhealthy. I'm like, yes, I get it. We could all die. You never know. This thing will take. But it's taking, I mean, and some of the old people, just like, tough luck, dude. You know, like, your life's getting cut a little short, I guess, depending on how old. And I get it. The 60s people are, it's tragic. You know, we don't want to lose anybody in their 60s. My parents are in their 60s. I get it about the 60s. But 75 plus, I mean, do we even count the, I'm sorry. I want two numbers for the coronavirus, like how many deaths below and above 75, yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever the average age is for that country, whatever the average age of death currently is for that country. So I think it has gone down to 75 something in this country. Feels about right. But yeah, if everyone gets healthier, if everyone stops choosing to eat, because you can blame the system, you can blame these corporations, whatever, but you guys are still choosing to buy Domino's and McDonald's. And Domino's, yeah, what was happening is that a lot of these franchises were telling their employees, like, no, we want you to keep working. People are ordering delivery, and they're like, what, we're supposed to be isolating and stuff, and shouldn't we be doing anything? Anyone? And you guys like, yeah, I mean, you know, because the emails from corporations right now to the public versus their employees are so fun, you know, from whether it's your own job or your lovers or anyone's that are posting on the internet, like, it's wild to see how these different companies and businesses and artists and everyone is, you know, reaching out about this shit. But The message to the Domino's employees, at least again, I think these are franchises, and so this is certain locations, but there seemed to be a lot of this where they're like, well, yeah, we need you to keep working. If you want to do any social isolation, like you can just quit your job then, but like there's no furlough, you're not getting your job back, like, and they were not giving them the equipment they needed, not the masks or anything, so they were just like having a strike or something. Some different Domino's people having strikes, and I'm like, you know I shouldn't joke so much about the fact that a lot of people dying could be good for the world in so many ways, but how about this? How about corporations dying? How about we bring out the guillotine for some corporations that really need to die? Guys, Domino's shouldn't exist. It's disgusting. I promise you that if you stop eating crap and then like you eat that again, you'll think, God damn, why did I ever put this shit in my body? I feel awful. It's poison. Everyone's so unhappy, and it's like, well, maybe you're eating garbage. You hate yourselves. Well, stop eating garbage. You are what you eat. There's just some truth to that little bit of nonsense, you know? So we are collectively what you eat. And it's like, stop. We are in this together. We are all combined in an ecosystem. We are the biodome of Mother Earth together, you know? And when you're treating yourself like garbage, not just what you eat, but like all of it, when you treat yourself like garbage, you are treating the collective whole like garbage. We are all in this together. And so that's why it's your moral duty to be the best person you can be. And yes, it's hard. And yes, I'm working on it myself. And there's a million ways to be the best person you can be. But try harder, everyone. Your health. Have you heard about health coming first? How a lot of people get to that point? Like, put your health first. And yes, mental and psychological as well as physical, but they're all connected. And anyway, I'm tired of people saying, like, it's none of your business if I want to be a fat piece of shit. Like, yeah, it is, my fellow country person. We're trying to get we're trying to get health care for all Americans, and yours costs too much. Because you got diabetes from drinking soda, and among a million other. Just go easy on the carbs if you're not going to be running and shit, but go running. Go easy on the dairy. Meat, it all depends, really. There's also so much genetic situation going on there, you know. Things are cyclical, hormonal, depends on the meat, you know, whatever. I'm not even going to weigh in on the meat thing right now, but the dairy, make that a treat if you're doing dairy. It depends, you know, just like a lot of people are doing too much, and just like bad sources of dairy too, you know, cheap like government cheese basically is what y'all are choosing to put inside yourselves, because, you know, cheese is a delicacy. It should be a delicacy. Get some nice cheese. If you're gonna have cheese, have it less often, but nicer stuff. Spend more time eating simply if you need to. If you don't have that much money, whatever, spend more time eating simply. Again, crock pot, put beans in there. Put also probably some onions, garlic, a million optional kinds of spices and herbs and roots and things, but, you know, cook the beans for a long time on low, and a long time, it's like different for every bean, and just check it sometimes, but like just give it a long time, and then you start putting like potatoes, carrots, onions, anything you want to, zucchini, asparagus. If you put chopped up okra, it will get gooey. Just bake okra. You can bake okra whole, just toss it in olive oil. salt, pepper. It won't be slimy for you. You can really also chop it up and it won't be slimy. Just coat it in olive oil, salt and pepper, bake it. Doesn't even, you know, and look it up. Just if you want to know, like, but how long? Just Google, how long do I bake okra? They'll give you some suggestions. There's kind of a range of possibilities, and you can figure out what you like. But it's just not that hard. It's just not that hard to learn some basic cooking. You don't need recipes every time you want to do anything. I think that stops a lot of people. You don't need a recipe book. You got the internet right there anyway, but like, it's just the recipe. I think a lot of people, you know, don't want to cook because every time they try to look up a recipe, every single fucking person who puts a recipe online feels the need to tell us their life stories surrounding that recipe, and no one gives a fuck. No one gives a shit. I mean, there's like 3% of people do, but most could just save it. You know, you get your little ads in our way, but like, really, you're wasting a lot of people's time. We don't care. We just want the recipe. Just put the recipe first and then put your life story second. That would be the right thing to do, because you'd be making the world a better place. Yeah, you might make less ad money. Well, you presumably have another job. But yeah, a lot of recipes are way too complicated, too many things you should have to go to the store first, and just like, don't even worry about it. What you need to do is figure out a few basic dishes that are healthy. That's where a lot of people go wrong. They're like, well, I'll figure out how to make lasagna, and that'll be the one thing I know. Okay, well, okay, fine, but then you need to start putting a ton of vegetables in your lasagna, and then maybe consider sometimes using those sort of like vegetable and or protein lasagna strips, okay? And you can eat, but please, like, you need to eat rich, delicious, traditional foods sometimes, but that's just like, that's a Sunday dinner type meal, not an everyday, you microwave a version of it type meal.